99% of music creators writing songs to this brief I got today are going to completely miss the mark for landing a placement worth thousands of dollars because they don't know how to decode it properly. So in this video, I'll show you my process to translate briefs into exactly what music supervisors need to put you ahead of the game. Yo, what's going on? My name's Jay Will, and I've generated over $1 million in sync fees in the last 4 years or so, helping music creators make music for brands, not fans. Think of these creative briefs from your client like a treasure map for exactly what they need for a specific scene. If you navigate through it quickly and effectively, you're most likely to find the buried treasure before everybody else does. And we can do this with a 3-step process. And if you stay to the end, I'll share a secret weapon that I always like to use that helps me land stuff more times than not. If you just got the map to buried hidden treasure, you wouldn't just glance at it for a couple seconds and then go on a 3-month voyage based off of memory, would you? No, you'd read it again and again and again. If you don't, you could miss crucial details costing you thousands of dollars, not just for this placement, but for future opportunities as well. Just like if you ordered some fish at a restaurant and they brought you out duck, which is completely opposite, right? You'd probably think, I'm never coming back here again. And then they cop the attitude with you because they thought that you did ask for the duck. Music supervisors are the exact same way. So by carefully reading the brief and looking out for these key things, you'll prevent this from happening. Look for where the context of where the track will actually be used in the TV show, commercial, whatever, who the audience is, but most importantly, the deadline and time zone of where that music needs to be. If you can't realistically produce quality work in that time, you'll actually have a better chance sitting out for this brief versus trying to rush to meet some type of deadline and your music sounding like boo. Because vision without execution is hallucination. I live and die by this quote. Because for sync licensing, too many music creators, although watching cool videos like this one, give up within the first 3 months due to lack of direction. That's where the Sync Alliance steps in. Join our private community that's open to the public for a very limited time in order to get sync documents that I use on a daily basis, direct messaging with myself and my team, and weekly music feedback sessions with industry experts, including music library owners, a multitude of sync reps, and music supervisors, so you can hear straight from the horse's mouth if your track is ready for the big screen. Don't just take my word for it. Join the Sync Alliance today and start executing sync as a major revenue stream in your music career. But if you stop there, it would be a massive issue because there are a bunch of hidden details about the actual music that are normally hidden in plain sight. Let me tell you a quick story. One time, my wife and I, we were living in the Caribbean for some time, and some friends came on a cruise to come visit us. And so we had to meet them on the shoreline because we were up in the mountains. So we rented a car and a GPS to actually navigate to the shoreline. And the GPS was actually taking us on some quick dirt roads that would get us faster to the designated location. But they were using some type of weird symbols that I couldn't really understand, and we were already late. I figured all I gotta do is navigate with the blue arrow and it's gonna point me in the right direction, right? Wrong. The map actually was showing me the way to avoid. If I would have actually looked at the legend of the map a little bit closer, we probably wouldn't have been stranded on the side of a mountain for about 30 minutes or so. Bad experience. But this can happen to you as well, where you're basically left on the side of a cliff. Because if you don't have music that fits the brief's clues on the map, you end up wasting a ton of time in the wrong creative direction. And again, you're gonna get that eye roll from the soups for giving you a shot in the first place for something they actually really needed. Worst letdown ever. So don't just look for the words in plain sight, like the mood or vibe or genre. That's easy. That's what they're normally asking for. Listen to what they give you on the reference tracks. They normally include things that words don't necessarily depict. For instance, the tempo of the song they're feeling for, the instrumentation that causes certain emotions of tone color. And most importantly, you need to make sure you understand the terms of the deal, whether that be exclusivity, the duration of how long it needs to be, or how much they're actually paying for it. These kinds of details on your treasure map are going to help you get closer to that young booty you desire. But if you're missing this last step, even if you turn it in on time, you might end up walking right past the X marks the spot. So imagine that you finally reached the area where the treasure is actually buried before everybody else. So you're super excited, but you only have enough time for one dig before your shovel finally just breaks from all the stress of your voyage and before the crowd arrives. So wherever you choose to dig, this is your one shot. It has to be the right spot. If you miss, you're up a creek. Music supervisors might actually just pass on your track, or even worse, not think that you're capable of following instructions, which push come to shove is what they're already thinking. So to prevent this, I use a metal detector to double check all my guesses before actually diving into where I think the treasure is. That's right, you need to reread the brief again, and you can easily do this by adding the metadata while you're actually composing the track to make sure that when you finally submit, there's no hesitation about, oh, I don't know if this is actually right or what they were looking for. before, so you're well equipped, and ensuring that the track stands out when it gets noticed, because most people don't do this extra work. But all of this preparation can still absolutely mean nothing if you do not do this before you open your computer to make a new track. And that's to actually ask questions. Ask some questions. If you don't know, ask somebody. Most people are so afraid of looking or sounding stupid, they won't ask for clarification before they're off to the races. When in actuality, they look even dumber if you think about it, when they spend 4 to 7 hours making something that Soups didn't actually ask for. So for the love of God, please ask questions if you're not familiar. Communication, especially in this business, is the cornerstone of winning in this industry. Questions can prevent wasted effort and time and show that you're committed to getting it right the first time. Just way more valuable, because now you can start working on the next brief. By following these steps, I've landed placements with briefs more frequently than those who don't. But understanding how to read briefs is just the tip of the iceberg. Where do you find these briefs? How do you pitch them to the right people? And when is the actual best time to send your music out? In this video right here, we break down exactly how your music is going to stand out even before it's heard for these kinds of briefs.